Om Shanti. Today in the Murli, Baba says, in the slogan, we will start with the slogan. Baba says, have the awareness of your true form and you will have the power of truth. So, people say the power of truth, and they say truth is power. So, truth is actually very powerful. And the truth is, I am a soul, and the qualities of the soul are knowledge, purity, peace, love, happiness, bliss, and power. And as a soul, I'm never born, I never die. I'm invincible, imperishable. So Baba says, when you are aware of all these things, you stay in your power. So Baba has given us a spiritual formula. And that formula is Smriti se Sthiti. So your awareness decides your stage. So whether you are feeling powerful or powerless is dictated by your awareness of who you are. So Baba says, when you are in the true awareness of your true self, then you're very powerful. So when you're feeling powerless, you should remember this, that it's because you've forgotten yourself. So switch back to that awareness and you will again be able to tap into that power. We will discuss this some other time. It's a very nice slogan. You churn on it today. Now today I want to talk about something that Baba says about. Baba says that you children have to follow Shrimat. Pay attention, you children have to follow Shrimat. Only in this is there benefit for you. Never think that there is a loss in this. For instance, if you are traveling to Delhi, and you break your leg on the way, consider there to be benefit in that too. At least the soul hasn't broken. The leg has broken, but that doesn't matter. So Baba says something very interesting today. Now, this soul cannot break, right? So why does Baba give this example? So Baba says there is benefit and there is loss. So in everything else there is benefit. In everything else there is benefit, provided you are following Shrimat. And there is only one loss, and the loss is when you don't follow Shrimat. Do you get this? So you see that there is this brother who shared his experience with me, and he said that he's into some business and his commodity was, his commodity was stopped by the sales people. So the sales tax people, they just towed away his truck. And then he was very upset. And there is this brother who had introduced him to knowledge. So he was sitting with that brother and he was very gloomy and sad, and that is the day he had to visit the center also. It was pre-planned. So in COVID times, he comes from a distance and he had to visit the center, and then he was very gloomy in the morning, and Then this brother who had introduced him to Gyan asked, so are we going to the center today? So he said, no, my truck got towed away and today I'm not in a good place. So that brother said, okay, did you read the Murli today? So he said, no. So that brother said, I did not know you are such a fool. So this brother got a little, so he said, why do you say I'm a fool? So he said, your truck got towed away. You have still not incurred a loss, right? So it's not like you have really incurred a loss. You have to go negotiate, get it back. But you didn't read the Murli. You already incurred a loss today. And the second loss is you're planning not to go to the center today. Okay, so and you are sad about that which is not a loss, and you have incurred two big losses and it doesn't even cross your mind. So this is how Kali-yugi souls, even though we are Sangam Yugi, sometimes we behave like we are Kali-yugi. So totally devoid of knowledge. Baba has given us this understanding of what is loss, what is gain, what is true, what is false. Earlier we talked about the truth and the falsehood. So Baba has given us the knowledge of what is true and what is false. But let us check for ourselves, do we really hold in our awareness the truth and feel powerful? Or do we hold in our awareness still that false things that we used to hold earlier and then experience powerlessness and sorrow? And then Baba has told us this equation about loss and gain. But do we still think that losing something on the external, like Baba mentions a leg, so if the leg is broken, so do we feel loss? Or do we feel that, when I miss the Murli, that's a loss? That's actually a loss. And Baba says, if you are on Shrimad, if you are doing as Baba is saying, then everything will turn to be a benefit. And I will tell you about this broken leg also. There is a very good incident I know. So there is this brother, these days he is in Australia, and he used to, when he was in India, he came into Gyan because his leg was broken. So what happened is he broke his leg and then he had to be bedridden for 3 to 4 months, and then he had nothing else to do, so he started watching TV. And then at that time there was this program on Sanskar channel. So he used to, that time we didn't have 24 hours channel like Peace of Mind and Awakening TV. We didn't have those channels. It was just on Sanskar and Astha. So at that time there was a half an hour or 1 hour program, and what he did is he found it interesting. He just came across it one day because he was bedridden and lying all day. So he just came across and then he recorded it and put it on repeat all day. So for 4 months he kept doing that, and after he got well, he went and undertook the course, and then he became an instrument for seva also. So in his residence, he and his mother, they started, so under the guidance of Didi, so Didi instructed them to do some seva, and then he became an instrument here also, and later he's a very good hand in Australia also. So Baba says that, everything else can turn into a benefit, but the only thing you have to be careful about is following Shrimad. And you experiment with this. you will experience that what Baba is saying is not only true but very, very powerful. So every situation that is apparently a situation of loss will transform itself into a beneficial situation for you. Yes, and you will feel like because this situation came, because this hurdle came, so I got a new insight into myself, or I got this new vision which I never had, or I started understanding things differently, or I found time to meditate, or I found the opportunity to practice what I learn in the class. So every situation will become an opportunity. But the only thing that we need to be careful about is Srimad. And when we do not follow Srimad, that is loss. Nothing else is loss. So take care of this. And then, so there is also this very interesting thing that Baba says today. So, sometimes children ask very sweet, innocent questions. And one of the sweet, innocent question is, if I am Baba's child, then why does Baba not save me from trouble? See, sometimes we ask, and also with regard to getting punished in Dharamraj Puri when we go back. So sometimes children ask this innocent question, so why does my Baba not protect me from punishment? So even if I have done wrongdoings and even if I have not been on Srimad, why doesn't Baba protect me as a father? So Baba, do you ever ask these questions? Baba, can't you be lenient with me? So today Baba answers that also. Baba says, before you die, make a lot of effort. Okay? Before you die. When will you die? Do you know when we'll die? Now Baba says so sweetly, Baba says, before you die, make a lot of effort. Now we don't know when we'll die. So when do we have to make the effort? Now. We cannot be sure about the next moment. So every moment, the effort has to be the maximum possible. And Baba says, while remembering the Father, earn your income. And Baba says, just like if you put a 0 after a 1, it becomes a 10. And you add another 0, it becomes 100. You add another 0, it becomes 1,000. So just by adding zeros, you can increase the number infinitely, increase the value infinitely. So Baba says, similarly, my remembrance is like adding a 0. I am a 0, I am a point. So every time you remember me, it's like adding a 0, adding an income, yes, or adding to your income. So Baba says that keep doing that and keep adding to your spiritual income. And do you know, are you spiritually rich? Yes, how do you ascertain whether you're spiritually rich? So, these are very interesting things. Like yesterday, Baba said, accumulation of time and thought. So if you have accumulated time and thought, you will be rich in thought and rich in time. Yes? Today we'll talk about rich in spiritual income. So, if somebody is rich in financial income, let's say, okay? So somebody has millions of rupees or billions, and then they have to spend on something, okay? They have to settle a debt. So somebody comes running and says, you owe me 50 rupees. They say, oh, 50 rupees, I don't care. I'll just give 50 rupees. Because they have a lot, right? Similarly, if we have a lot of spiritual income, then something comes up for settlement. Okay, you have to deal with an unfavorable situation. You have to deal with unfavorable behavior, or you have to deal with some physical, discomfort for some time. Then Baba says that soul who has spiritual income, spiritual bank balance, will not flinch. That soul will feel, I have a lot of knowledge, lot of power, lot of purity, lot of happiness, lot of peace, lot of love to pass this situation. Because what do you need to cross a situation? You need spiritual virtues and powers and knowledge. And if you're spiritually rich, you will not care about the magnitude of the situation. Okay, everything will look like child's play to you. And if you get very nervous when a small karmic account comes up, that means we don't have enough spiritual income. And yesterday there is this sister, and she was telling me that, Didi, I have to visit my mother-in-law after 3 years, because in this COVID time I didn't have to visit her. And every time I think about her, I start sweating. So I just have this, I break into a sweat thinking about I have to go and stay with her for 15 days. And then I said, what Raj Yoga are you practicing? Yes, what Raj Yoga are you practicing if this one situation scares you so much? That means we don't have enough accumulated virtues and powers. Yes, it is not about how many challenges the other person can throw at us. It is about my capacity to deal with those challenges. And because my capacity is less, that is why the thought of that challenge scares me. Yes, so Baba says that you keep remembering me and you keep accumulating income, because in the future there will be events, there will be situations, there will be behaviors which you cannot even think of. And Baba says in those times you will need this spiritual income, enough of it, so that you can settle them. Okay. Now Baba says, so before you die, make a lot of effort while remembering the Father, earn your income. If you commit a sin after belonging to the unlimited Father, you will receive 100-fold punishment for just that one sin. Yes, so this is the law. After we have come to Baba, if we commit a sin, then we receive 100-fold punishment of that sin. Why? Because now we are not little children, we are adults. We are going to school, Baba is teaching us everything. So Baba says, if a juvenile commits a crime, the punishment is less. But if an adult commits a crime, the punishment is more. So Baba says, you are taking so much of sustenance, you are wary of everything, you know everything, and still if you commit a crime, there'll be a lot of, not a crime, sorry, a sin, there'll be a lot of punishment. So Baba says, you would then be ashamed of what people would say. Shiv Baba says, I make Dharamraj give you very severe punishment. At that time, he wouldn't say, this is my child. There are very strict rules. If a judge's child commits a crime, he cannot do anything. The child has to experience punishment. Yes? Would you like it if a judge's child committed a crime and he got away with it? No. So Baba says, then how can I be lenient with you? In fact, when a judge's child gets caught up, the punishment is very severe. Because an example has to be set. Yes, so that other people understand that the law is the same for everyone. Yes, and this is why you see that Brahma Baba, Dadis, they set an example for everything. Yes, how to sacrifice the body, the mind, the wealth, everything, because the child sets the example which defines the dignity of the parent. So Baba says, you children will have to face the punishment for whatever you do, because I am the judge and I cannot spare you because you're my child. And Baba says, the father explains to you every day, children, don't do anything sinful at all. This is why Baba says, I warn you not to engage in sin anymore. Now Baba cannot help the whole world, because those children who don't come and listen to Baba, Baba cannot even let them know what sin is. People don't know that lust is a sin. People don't know that body consciousness is a sin. But Baba says, this is why you children have understood what sin is, and you must take very good care not to engage in sinful activity. Do you know there is a difference between sin and crime? So crime is recognized by the law. So the law of the land recognizes some wrongdoings, and that becomes a crime. So a crime is the definition of sin by the law of the land. But a sin is very different. Even if it's not covered under the law of the land as a crime, it still makes you the recipient of sorrow. So that's a sin. So most things which qualify as sin are not covered under crime. Yes, so lying is not covered under crime, or maybe it is in some cases, but not always. And then crime, so just take this example, you see this, when there was no cyber law, then cyber crime was not crime. So, the purview of crime starts expanding as new knowledge comes to light. But when it comes to sin, Baba says lust is a sin, anger is a sin, ego is a sin, attachment, worry, fear, all these are sins, but the most important is lust. And Baba says, according to the law of the land, it doesn't qualify as a crime. So you say somebody is engaging in lustful behavior, it is considered to be normal. It's not a sin, but it's not a crime, but Baba says it is a sin, paap. So Baba says that children, don't do anything sinful at all. The greatest sin is that of vice. Many storms will come, and there is a lot of dirty activity outside. Don't even ask, this is a brothel. Baba says this whole world is a brothel. For instance, when you explain to an eminent person and he becomes a student, other people would say that the magic of the Brahma Kumaris has been cast on him. So people cannot understand how somebody can be so influenced by somebody without vices. So they will say dirty things when you come to Gyan also, because this world is a brothel and everybody has only lustful thoughts everybody only knows that way of the world, so they think like that and speak like that. Okay, so Baba makes us very wary of sin today. And today Baba also says something very interesting about cow slaughterhouses. And Baba says, there are heads of social workers. That one is spiritual, whereas the others are those who do physical service for human society. So you know that Baba is the spiritual social worker and others are physical social workers. So social work usually in the world is about making the body comfortable, yes, feeding, clothing, giving medicines, making sure that medical attention is given. And Baba is the spiritual social worker. Now Baba says they are now asking everyone to stop slaughtering cows. Yes, those social workers. You can write that to use the sword of lust on one another is the greatest slaughter of all. So today Baba talked about breaking the soul. So Baba says, thank God your soul is not broken, your leg is broken. And then Baba says today that those slaughterhouses which slaughter cows, they do something wrong, but then when you are engaging in lust, then it's like slaughtering the soul. Yes, and sometimes it becomes very difficult to understand how lust affects the soul. Okay, now I will just tell you one thing which will make you think today. And you see that the greatest form of violence in the world is domestic violence. Do you know that the biggest form of violence is domestic violence in the world? And I have done a lot of thinking on this and also observation on this. You see, I have many friends who, when they were female friends I'm talking about, who when they were in college or in school, they had a personality which was very daunting. These girls were not like you could assume that they will get beaten up one day. So they didn't listen to anybody, or any kind of nonsense just put them off and everything. But I've seen some of them even getting beaten up in later life and not saying anything to it. Yes, and I have thought about this a lot. And when you want to kill the soul, so you want to kill the power, the purity, the everything, the powerful stage of the soul, you want to just undermine it, you first engage in lust. And then, when you control a soul with lust, then you express your anger and they don't do anything about it. So lust is what actually kills the soul. Not literally kill, but it undermines the strength of the soul. And then when you reduce the strength of the soul, then the soul is not able to deal with not able to respond to the violence that is being done to the body. And this is a very interesting phenomena. And if you see that whenever we engage in lust, then the soul power decreases. You look at children, they have greater soul power than adults engaging in lust. And these days you see children are also losing their spiritual power because they are losing their purity at a very early age. So Baba says that there is a very good connection between spiritual power and lust. And Baba says lust is like the slaughter of the soul. So Baba says educate people of, and you know, this also brings us to this question that the woman gets beaten up because she engages in lust, or that soul engages in lust, and they don't react. But what about the man, that that soul in the male body is also engaging in lust? Then how do they beat? So you see, again, beating is another act of low spiritual power. So if you are feeling the need to be violent, if you're feeling the need to abuse, or if your heart doesn't wrench at the thought of abusing or engaging in violence, that is a sign of very low spiritual power. So Baba says this low spiritual power makes one person the victim and another person the perpetrator. So Baba says, and all this happens where there is lust involved. And for that matter, every vice, you know, even attachment makes you do things that you wouldn't do to a person you're not attached to. So these are the expressions of vice. So Baba says, don't engage in vice, because vice kind of robs the soul of its spiritual power. And Baba says, educate everybody about this, that even greater than the slaughter of cows is the slaughter of the soul, and you have to stop that. And then there is something that Baba talks about. So this is very interesting, so I'll read it out to you first. Baba says, Baba has such children who say, Baba, whenever you are in need, remember me. I am ready to help you. Look at the language we speak with God. I will help you if you need me. Yes? If you need anyone to carry out good tasks for the yajna, then remember me. Baba says, I will not remember anyone. You can do whatever you want. So Baba says, you remember that God will never need anybody. And we should always pay attention to doing our bit on our own. Yes? We have to contribute our mind, body and wealth, because we want to receive 100-fold return of it. So Baba says, I don't need it. You need to invest it to get the return. So Baba says, I will never ask you to help me because I don't need any help. Baba is the Almighty. But if you are sensible enough, you will do that which will create your fortune. So Baba says, I am the bestower. I have come to make Bharat into heaven. You will also go to heaven. Whatever you receive will be according to how much you do. So you decide how much you want to receive and do according to that. Baba says, so this has to be kept in mind. So, you know, Baba will not ask you for anything. So never think that Baba will need me and need my help. So Baba says, if you understand the law that you get as much as you sow, then you will sow as much as you want to receive. Okay? And then the blessing is very beautiful today. Baba says, If a soul has a desire, but because of not having courage, he is not able to achieve what he wants, even though he has that desire, then as well as becoming a lawmaker, that is a bestower of knowledge for such a soul, also be merciful and become a bestower of blessings. Yes, now this is an interesting blessing today, and I will explain it with an example. So you see, there is this Mata, she's some 70 years of age. And in pre-COVID time, she undertook the course. So she used to come from a distance, so probably 10 kilometers from the center. So she used to come for the course every day. And then after the course, she stopped. Okay, and then one day I told that, let me call that Mata, she's not coming after the course. Then somebody told me that, you know, Didi, you have told everything in the course. And she knows the knowledge that she has to come listen to the Murli and do yoga. And if she has the knowledge and still chooses not to do it, then you shouldn't call her. Okay, so somebody just told me this. And they said that probably if you call her, then she will feel like you're pursuing her or something. So I said, it's okay, whatever she thinks, but it is my duty to just, just tell her that, Baba loves her and Baba waits for her. And then I called her and I told her, Mataji, you didn't come after the course, so Baba waits for you. Baba loves you. Baba loves the way you sit and smile in the class. And then she came. And then now it's been 5 to 6 years. She's been coming regularly. And then one day she told me, Didi, I had stopped my journey. And just because you called, it started. So, sometimes we don't understand that, souls get the knowledge and they understand everything, but they sometimes need just a gesture of love or a gesture of power, or, blessing is a very subtle thing. It's not huge. It's just that merciful drishti, that compassionate words, sometimes an act of giving a glass of water with love. And after 10 years, they'll tell you that they are in knowledge not because of the course, but because of the water that you serve lovingly. So Baba says, sometimes, children understand the knowledge, but you have to just support them with a gesture of compassion. And that gesture works like a blessing. And, you're like supporting them, giving them courage with that compassionate thought, word, or behavior. And Baba says that give that soul the extra power of your good wishes. And good wishes express themselves in loving thoughts, words, and acts. And these good wishes actually bring a lot of encouragement to souls. And Baba says, however, you can only become such an embodiment of a bestower of blessings when your every thought is surrendered to the Father. So you see, whenever you want to engage in such a pure act of compassion, then your ego will come in between. Yes, every pure act of compassion has to pass the test of ego. And what is it that you need to pass that test of ego? You need this surrender of every thought to Baba. So, whenever ego tries to mess it up, you say, no, what ego do I have? I am a samarpit bacha. What ego can I have? I'm not allowed to have any ego. I'm a child, yes? So, everything that mine, everything is Baba's. So, I don't have to think about anything. So, Baba says, that kind of a soul will be capable of these compassionate acts. Fulfill the promise you made to surrender your every moment, your every thought, and your every action. So Baba says, you used to say that, Baba, I'll go, all over, I'll surrender to you. So Baba says, now you fulfill that promise and actually surrender every thought, every word, every action to Baba. And whenever ego comes in between, you say, no, I don't have any ego. I have to do as Baba says. So, Om Shanti.